Donald Trump facing a tag team attack. First, there's Hillary Clinton ripping Trump for refusing to release his tax returns. At a rally last night in New Jersey, the Democratic frontrunner taking him to task and promising to find out why he's keeping his returns under wraps.
When you run for president, especially when you become the nominee, that is kind of expected. My husband and I have released 33 years of tax returns. We got 8 years on our website right now. So you got to ask yourself, why doesn't he want to release them? Yeah, well, we're going to find out.
Donald Trump saying that he will release his tax returns after a federal audit is completed and that he would like to do so before the election. And then he fired off his own jab at Clinton, saying that she's attacking him just to win votes and beat out Bernie Sanders for the Democratic nomination. Meantime, an equally intense war of words breaking out between the presumptive Republican nominee and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Their clashes playing out, yes, on Twitter. Did you see this? Warren tweeting, "Your policies are dangerous, your words are reckless, your record is embarrassing, and your free ride is over." And Trump responding in kind, "If it were up to goofy Elizabeth Warren, we'd have no jobs in America. She doesn't have a clue." Lars Larson is a talk radio host for Compass Media Networks, and Chuck Brocha is a Democratic strategist who is currently advising Bernie Sanders. Thank you both for joining us.
Good to be here.
You bet.
All right, so 140 words, characters or less. Looks like that this campaign may be shaping up to be a lot of that. But let's begin with taxes and Hillary Clinton hitting Trump on that. Chuck, what do you think about that? Is this obviously an indication of the direction that she's going to go?
Look, Democrats are going to try to beat up Donald Trump at every avenue they can. But let's be clear about something. I'm a strategist. I put campaigns together. And people are going around today going, everybody's released their taxes since 1976. And you got to release your taxes. And you got to do this and you got to do this. This just in, Donald Trump ain't going to do what he's got to do for nothing. That's how he's won the nomination. He's going to keep on going. We'll continue to throw things at him, and he's going to continue not to care.
Yeah, and Lars, kind of ironic because there's at least one or two things maybe that Hillary Clinton has not released, correct?
Yeah, a whole pile of things she hasn't released. I got to tell you something. Look at this. Donald Trump is unifying Republicans and Democrats. He's getting equal criticism on the tax issue from both Mittens Romney and the crook from Chappaqua. He's bringing Republicans and Democrats together, and he's not even the nominee yet. I want to tell you something. I understand this is tradition, and Americans do a lot of things out of tradition. I hate to get to this point where we're doing something out of tradition. What's the reason for the tradition? The reason is that most of the time when people run for president, we don't necessarily know a lot about how they made their money or how much money they make. But with Donald Trump, we already know that to a large degree. And what are his tax returns actually going to tell you? Once he's done with the audit and they're released, they're going to say he either made a lot of money or not so much. I'm betting it's going to be a lot of money. They don't tell you much about his net worth, which has been the football that's been batted back and forth for the last 6 or 8 months. But what exactly do American voters get out of this? A guy who has a lot of money, makes a lot of money every year, and he either pays a very high tax rate, which would show he's foolish, or he pays a lower tax rate, which shows he and his accountants are smart.
Right.
What do we actually get out of it?
And as you mentioned, I mean, it is tradition. It's not even really required, and it didn't begin until 1976. So, Chuck, I want to go back over to you. This would obviously open up Hillary Clinton to some jabs from Donald Trump and his team, Bernie Sanders as well, in terms of some of the things that she's not releasing, like the amount that she's paid for the speeches that she gives, that type of thing.
Absolutely. What we're doing right now in the political season is figuring out what's going to stick. So you've got a lot of posters who are protesting lots of things. But guess there's two politicians out there that don't really listen to posters, and one is Donald Trump and one is Bernie Sanders. The American people aren't sitting back right now going, well, did Donald Trump only give 8% to charity or did he give 10% to charity? What they want to know is who's going to listen to them, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, and try to put them back to work, make sure that people are working and try to get something accomplished, not did he give 9 or 8% to charity. Should he release them? Yeah. If he don't release them, it ain't going to make a hill of beans, I bet, to Donald Trump.
So let's touch briefly on Elizabeth Warren. She's not officially thrown her support behind anyone, but she is being thrown out there as a possible VP candidate for Hillary Clinton. That would be key in going after some of the demographics that Donald Trump has a problem with, that being women. So, Lars, do you think that that will help him? She's obviously also being put out there as the one that can fight back, whereas Hillary can't really do that right now.
I want to tell you something, Heather. I would love it if Senator Warren was the VP candidate, because the senator from You Didn't Build That, who doesn't have much to point at that she's accomplished in her life, is going to criticize Donald Trump, who's had a real profession his whole life and who's been amazingly successful. Try to sell that You Didn't Build It line, even to Democrats out there. And I know some Democrats who are appalled by that whole line of thinking that somehow a woman who's feeding at the public trough is going to tell them that when they built a business or built a company or built an enterprise, that they didn't actually do it. I would love to see Warren on the Hillary Clinton ticket.
Chuck, just quickly, your response to that. You like Bernie Sanders. Could she pull up his supporters?
Well, right now the Hillary campaign's trying to figure out what are they going to do if they win this nomination to get the Bernie Sanders supporters. And Elizabeth Warren, they think is their silver ticket to get that done. And so that's what the strategy is here, and that's why the name's being floated, because they do not win this election without the younger vote and the Bernie supporters.
Oh, well, they will all continue to tweet. Thank you both for joining us. We'll see what happens next.
Pleasure, Heather.
Thank you.